Welcome back to the session. In this session, we're going to see building service aspirations. So, every organization or company, the main aim of them is to make profit. So, in order to make profits, they have to make business or sales. So, in order to make sales, they have to create the demand for the product or services. In order to create that demand, they have to analyze the exact need of the customer. What is the market situation, what is the market impact, and the competition. Similarly, in a service organization, in order to create a service aspiration or a service demand, the service provider has to keenly think on two things. One, generating aspirations to serve the users, and the other, aspirations to use the services. So the first one is about creating the demand for a service which is required by the customer, and the other is about creating a demand for the service which is available in the market. So both the aspirations needs a demand. So in order to create a demand, the service provider has to provide a high quality oriented services to the customer so that the customer expectation meets the customer perceived by him. The expectation and customer perceived meets together, and then the customer's satisfaction occurs. If the customer is satisfied, then the service which is rendered by the service provider is satisfactory or its quality. If the customer is not satisfied, then there is inefficient service, or the quality of the service is not up to the level. So there is a gap when the services are not to the expectation of the customer's requirement. In order to reduce that gap, the service provider has to train their employees. They have to uh, train their employees. They have to give employee orientation so that the employees, the internal customers of the organization, have enough knowledge and are also able to understand the exact need of the customer, and by that create the exact service needed by the customer. The other ways of impacting your employees about your promotion and training, the monetary benefits as well as the non-monetary benefits, the appraisals, which will have the direct impact on the employee, so that that impact reflects in a positive manner, and based on that reflection it engages more per services being provided, or it engages more business for the service provider. So if your employees are properly trained, even your potential customer or prospective customer will be much interested in your services, as your employees create a demand for your service. So basically the employee as well as the service provider need to think on two things. One, the culture. Two, the market factors, the demand for the service. So how does a culture impact the service? The service provider has to learn what type of culture is being followed by the customers and how it is being transmitted from one generation to the next. So culture is an important in service marketing because it has a direct effect on the ways of customer evaluate and use the services provided in the market or being provided in the market. ஸோ நீங்கள் கொடுக்குற சர்வீஸை எப்படி கஸ்டமருக்கு டேரெக்டாக கஸ்டமரோட எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷனுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி கொடுக்க போறீங்கன்றதா ரொம்ப முக்கியம். ஸோ அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் இந்த சர்வீஸ் பிஸ்னஸ் நன்றாக போகிறதுக்கும் ஒரு வழிவகுக்கும். இந்த So the main motive of building your service aspiration is about creating or generating business. It also impacts in developing your human resources. So human resources, remember your different departments of your organization, starting from your finance. The other important departments are your HR, human resource department, marketing, and also your operations, where human power or human resources are being used in these departments. So human resources plays a vital role in the success of your service organizations. Selecting the right job for the right person at the right time is being evaluated here, and the HR team, the personal team here selects people who are for the right jobs. Selecting the right marketing executives will impact in generating leads or creating demand for your services. Whereas your production house talks about creation of your services, how quality oriented services are being created by your production team. So all your impacts talks about your internal marketing, your personal mobilization, and input output interface. So all these human resources being properly handled with building your service aspirations will lead to benchmarking. So benchmarking is a process where you measure your company's success against other similar companies to discover if there's a gap in performance that can be closed by improving your performance. So in short, benchmarking is nothing but an assessing process within the company and also with its competitors. So you assess inside your company how well you have been performing, and also you assess a company as a whole against your competition. So there are different types here as benchmarking. Internal benchmarking talks about assessing the different departments in an organization. Say example, assessing the different departments in an hospital, or assessing the UG colleges or undergraduate colleges from a particular university. A few examples of your internal benchmarking. Competitive benchmarking talks about assessing a company as a whole against its competitors. Whereas functional and generic benchmarking talks about comparing with the competitors which are not related to the technical part. So for example, it can be a specific benchmarking or functional benchmarking or a generic benchmarking. Where generic benchmarking talks about one's company's process against the different process being followed by the competitors, or else a specific function like after sales services which is being provided by a company which is almost same compared to all the competitors. So these are the different types of benchmarking. With this, we have come to the end of your unit 1. So see you in the other session. I'll see you in the next unit.